Chris, speaking of the vibe, Bassick was talking about this. It didn't seem the same through the television. What was up with the vibe in Game 3 against the Warriors? Was that the quietest playoff crowd so far during this run?
Yeah, this season, you're right. And I think it was a combination of two things. I think you nailed it earlier. I was listening to you guys at 5:30 on my way to the American Airlines Center, and you nailed it. Yeah. I was in what you call it, the pre-6 o'clock club.
the hangover club, the overachiever early workout club. That's what you're in, the overachiever early workout club.
That's it. Well, you nailed it when you were saying, okay, they like to, first of all, they were worried. And then, when I say worried, because the game didn't start off the way all these playoff games have started at the American Airlines Center, where the Maverick fans see the players hitting those shots and they go crazy. Well, in the game the other night, the Maverick fans saw a bunch of misses. And you broke this down earlier this week as well. Reggie Bullock, Dorian Finney-Smith, Jalen Brunson, there are 3 of the 4 players who have played the most minutes and had the most miles on them in the entire NBA playoffs this year. Jason Tatum's number 3, by the way. Jaylen Brown's number 5. So they've got a lot of miles on them, and they were clanging their shots. The Maverick fans were nervous about that, and so therefore you didn't have that same rush of energy that they had created the entire year. Just to give you a perspective on this, all teams in the NBA strive for home court advantage. You strive for that because benches don't travel well in the NBA. Mavericks had 29 victories this year at home. I was the PA announcer for 21 of those. The great Sean Heath returned for the last few, and they had this tremendous energy, and that's what the players were talking about, and they have fed off of that the entire year. Even Steve Kerr and other coaches and other players have talked about how the energy in the American Airlines Center is just amazing. So the energy just wasn't the same because they saw what had happened at Golden State, and then they saw this nervousness of like, oh, my God, the Mavericks are not making their shots. You did hear it when Luka hit his shot to end the first quarter, that logo 3, and the roof blew off.
Yeah.
But then again, there was this nervous tension and nervous energy because, Maverick fans are smart. They know you lose that game, you are going to be down 3-0, and you'd have to make history to win 4 straight games to win the series.
It was the same against Phoenix, Game 3. I was there. There was a little bit of nervous energy in there, but the Mavs were able to maintain their lead and win. So I understand. I get why it was nervous.
Yeah, and again, most of the games that the Mavericks have won at the American Airlines Center, they've been blowouts. So the fact that the Dallas Mavericks, they took it to a 9-point lead in the second quarter, the fact that they didn't carry that over to the second half, people were stressed.
Hey, you mentioned the blowouts. There hasn't been a game in the playoffs decided by 5 or less. This is for the entire league since May 11th. Why have there been so many blowouts in the NBA playoffs this year?
I heard you talking about that, and I was amazed at that as well. In fact, Kevin Gray and I were talking about that Sunday afternoon. He was saying, when was the last time? He was like, was it Boston, Brooklyn? I said, I think it was Boston, Milwaukee, and it was Boston, Milwaukee. And I think the number one reason is a lot of teams live and die on 3 points, 3-point shots. Yeah. And if the shots aren't going in, they lose big time. In other words, they're going to keep going back to trying to get that 3-point shot to drop. There's only been a couple of teams like Golden State and Phoenix that are really good mid-range jump shooting teams, and that's the strategy of going back and forth and back and forth. I also heard you guys mention something about there hasn't been a dominant team this year, and that's also part of the play. There's not some dominant team where, you don't have, in other words, if you've got 2 or 3 dominant teams that know how to play 3-point shots, mid-range jumpers, great defense, the entire 9 yards, then you might have more back and forth. But you're right about that. The crazy thing about it is the NBA's had their highest ratings in years and years and years since pre-pandemic. Yeah. So I guess people are still watching, even though, like you guys were saying earlier, I can't watch a game that's a blowout.
Chris Arnold, just leaving the AAC. He will be your Mavs MC again tonight for Game 4, CA on the Diamond Factory Hotline. Chris, what has surprised you, besides 3-0, what has surprised you the most about this series?
that the Dallas Mavericks actually beat the Golden State Warriors 3-1 of the regular season and won the last 3 consecutive games. I've been surprised at the Golden State Warriors pedigree. Now, we know they got experience and they've got 4 championships, but most of their bench doesn't have that pedigree. I've been surprised the way Steve Kerr has been able to, keep these guys in their element of experience. In other words, they haven't gotten nervous about anything. The Dallas Maverick players are learning on the job. Luka even said it himself. He said, I'm 23 years old. I had a bad 3 quarters. I'm learning from this. The Dallas Mavericks have made adjustments. The coaching staff has been brilliant. But you're just seeing experience versus on-the-job training. What you're learning from the Dallas Mavericks this year is they had a special team. They are a real team. But you're seeing the flaws exposed, which is they don't have – put it like this. They don't have the interior defense to match up well against this Golden State team, even though they did so during the regular season. I think Draymond Green missed the last 2 games that the Mavericks won against Golden State. I'm not going to say the Mavericks are going to lose this game tonight. Even Vegas has picked the Mavericks to win, and that's because Golden State proved when they played against Memphis, they'll take their foot off the gas, knowing that they can go back home. I'm not assuming that the Dallas Mavericks are going to win 4 straight. Nobody's done that. But I think the Mavericks have shown that, okay, they can play hard, but they don't have the interior defense to match up against the speed of the Golden State Warriors. And the Golden State Warriors have slashers. They not only can hit 3-pointers, but they can drive to the basket.
Chris, do you think that we all made a little bit of a mistake in crowning Luka over Steph? Luka's the best player in the series. We'd rather have Luka in the 4th quarter. Luka's the future. Steph is the past. He's 34 years old, and now he's had moments in this series where he's had to, remind us a little bit, yo, man, I'm still Steph freaking Curry. Do you think we disrespected Steph a little bit while praising Luka?
I agree, and that's because Steph Curry's got the experience. Luka, and he also has more weapons. Luka doesn't have as many weapons to play off of that Steph Curry has, and so Luka sometimes, because he's young, he's only 23 and he's learning, he sometimes says, okay, I think I need to take over. Well, this is not the kind of team where you alone can carry it. They're not good enough. So therefore, you've got to get the other guys involved, and you can't just, in other words, Phil Jackson told this to Michael Jordan back in the day. You can't take over the game or the other guys are just going to watch you, and you can't score 110 points. So Steph Curry has the freedom to know, okay, I've got Draymond, I've got Clay, I've got Poole, I've got guys, I even got Wiggins. I've got guys that can step up. Even Looney stepped up. Luka doesn't have that luxury, but Luka also can't just say, okay, these other guys aren't doing it, I'm going to have to do it myself. Or he can't just jack up threes, or he's learning. And Steph has experience over him. Steph's 34 years old.
Chris, who has disappointed you amongst the Mavs supporting cast?
The first 2 games, it was Dinwiddie, because Dinwiddie did not play like he did in Games 6 and 7 against the Phoenix Suns. You saw him do that in Game 3 on Sunday. He scored 28 points, I believe, 28 points.
He had 26 of the 28 off the bench.
Literally, he played like he should have played in Game 2. If he had given them 10 points in Game 2, they probably would have stole that game. Instead, he only had 2 points in the first half, 2 points in the second half. So I expected more out of him because he's more experienced. I'm disappointed in Maxi Kleber in the last 2 games. And in the last game in particular, we've explained about the miles on Reggie Bullock and Dorian Finney-Smith. Reggie Bullock was 0 for 10. The man has been doing everything. He's been playing defense on their best players, and he's been also shooting. He gave you 21 points in Game 2. So I'm not disappointed in Reggie Bullock for the series, but I was disappointed for Spencer Dinwiddie the first 2 games.